Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take the sources you send us, things you're curious about, and we really boil them down to what you need to know. It's kind of a shortcut to getting informed, fast.
And today, we're looking at something sent in by the learner. It's quite a personal story.
Yeah, really personal. It's about a family dinner experience that went, well, completely sideways.
We're working from a first-hand account here, someone writing about facing some pretty unexpected conflict within the family. It gives us a really close look at those dynamics.
It really does. And the situation itself is, well, it's intense. Imagine being told by your mother-in-law you're basically uninvited to a family dinner she's hosting.
Right, and then how she reacts, it's not what you'd expect at all.
Not at all. Okay, let's unpack this then. So the story starts with Lucy and her husband, Tom.
Yeah.
Their relationship seems pretty good, solid footing.
And that's important, right? It sets the stage. It suggests this blow-up isn't necessarily about them as a couple initially.
Exactly. It points maybe more towards an external issue, like maybe the mother-in-law.
Seems likely.
So this special family dinner gets announced. But right away, Lucy feels something's a bit off.
How so?
Well, Tom's being weirdly vague about it, not giving her the details, which apparently isn't like him.
Ah, okay, so that's the first little warning bell, maybe?
Yeah.
A change in his usual behavior.
Yeah, definitely sets up some unease for Lucy. And then comes the rule. No plus ones.
No plus ones.
The reason given. Immediate family only.
But she's his wife. She is immediate family.
Precisely. So that excuse, it just doesn't add up, does it?
No, it sounds like a deliberate move by Carol, the mother-in-law,
Yeah.
trying to define family in her own way, it seems.
Exactly. And Lucy's already got this feeling about Carol thinks she's a bit cold to begin with, so this whole odd setup just ramps up her suspicion that something isn't right.
That existing dynamic is key context. It means Carol's actions, while maybe shocking in their directness, perhaps aren't totally out of left field given their history.
Right. So fast forward to the restaurant. Lucy and Tom arrive, and Carol's welcome.
Hey,
He's cold.
what does she say?
Her first words to Lucy are, "I didn't expect you to show up."
Wow. Wow. That's not just rude, that's actively hostile.
Totally. It confirms it wasn't some mistake. Carol wanted her gone.
So there's no pretense anymore.
None. Then Carol pulls Lucy aside for a private word. That's never good news.
Uh-oh.
And she just lays it out. "You're not welcome here tonight. I've made arrangements for you to leave."
Made arrangements, like called her a cab or something. The nerve.
I know, it's so premeditated, calculated.
And her reason.
Still sticking to the script. This dinner is for family only, not for outsiders.
Outsiders. Ouch. That word just cuts, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It completely dismisses her role as Tom's wife.
It really does. It shows how Carol sees her completely separate, not part of the core unit.
So how does Lucy react? Tears, anger.
Neither, actually. This is where it gets wild. Her first reaction, she laughs.
Laughs. Serious.
Yeah, like a burst of just sheer disbelief, maybe. Like the absurdity of it just hit her. That's unexpected. But kind of brilliant. Like a way to break the tension, even just for herself. Or maybe just pure shock.
Could be. But that laughter, it seems to flip a switch inside her. She thinks, if you think for 1 second that I'm going to walk away, you're out of your mind.
Ah, so defiance kicks in. She's not just going to take it.
Not at all. She goes from being attacked to pushing back. She decides right then she's not backing down.
Good for her. What does she say to Carol?
She basically calls her out on the whole thing, questions how ridiculous it is, questions Carol's perceived power to just kick her out.
Undermining Carol's authority play.
Nice. But Carol digs in deeper. She comes back with, "You're not part of the family, Lucy. This dinner is for those who matter. And right now, that's not you."
Oh, that is harsh. That's designed to wound. It's not just about the dinner anymore, is it? It's a fundamental rejection.
Totally. A real attack on her belonging. But Lucy doesn't crumble.
What does she do? Argue?
Nope. She decides she's not leaving, but she's also not going to just stand there. Her next move is pretty inspired, actually. Okay, I'm intrigued.
She decides to ask the restaurant owner for a seat.
The owner. That's bold. Going outside the family drama completely.
Right. And smart, because it turns out she knows him slightly from being there before. So she finds John, the owner, and just lays it out.
How does she phrase it?
Something like, "Look, my mother-in-law decided she doesn't want me here, but I'm not leaving. Actually, I'd love to join the dinner. Any chance you could grab me a seat?"
Direct. I like it. Puts him in an interesting spot.
He's surprised, obviously. But he gets it. And he tells his staff to bring a chair over.
He sides with her.
He does. He even says something like, You know, Lucy, I see a lot of family drama in this job, but it's not often I see someone stand up for themselves like you just did.
Wow, that's huge validation for Lucy right there. The owner backing her up publicly.
Totally. It must have completely changed the dynamic at the table. Can you imagine the look on Carol's face?
Oh, I bet. The tension must have been unbelievable as Lucy sits down.
Carol tries one last weak protest, like, Lucy, you can't.
It's too late now, Carol?
Exactly. Lucy just cuts her off with, oh, I can, and I'm staying. Just shuts it down.
That takes guts. She's really holding her ground.
For sure. So the dinner happens. I mean, picture the awkwardness. Probably total silence or just very strained conversation.
Yeah, you could cut the atmosphere with a knife, I imagine.
But wait, it gets better or worse, depending on your view. Dinner ends, and Carol announces dessert at her house.
Oh, no.
And then she looks right at Lucy and says, Lucy, I'm afraid you won't be joining us.
She's doubling down. Again, the persistence is almost impressive in a terrible way.
Right. It's like she just cannot let it go. She is determined to exclude Lucy.
So what's Lucy's reaction this time? Laughter again.
More like exasperated disbelief. She says something like, oh, so now I'm not even invited to dessert. You're really trying to get rid of me, aren't you? She calls it out directly.
Good. No point pretending anymore.
And then guess who she turns to?
Not the owner again.
Yep, back to John. John, hate to bother you again, but got another little situation here.
Huh. This is becoming a running gag? John the Unexpected Ally.
Totally. And John delivers again. He tells the staff to bring Lucy a special dessert right there at the restaurant, on the house.
No way. That's amazing. What does he say?
He tells Carol, basically, Lucy's a valued guest, and I won't have her treated poorly here. Plus, you know, customer service. He uses his authority as the owner.
He's actively intervening now, taking a stand. That's more than just seating her.
Absolutely. Apparently, the staff are kind of on Lucy's side, too, so Lucy sits there eating her fancy free dessert while Carol is just fuming.
What a scene. Lucy gets dessert, Carol gets thwarted. Again.
But throughout all this, the dinner, the dessert drama...
Where's Tom?
I was wondering that. What's her husband doing while his wife is being treated like this?
Exactly. So after the dessert situation settles, Lucy finally turns to Tom. What's up? What's going on, Tom?
About time.
And then, more directly, why aren't you standing up for me? Why is your mom treating me like this?
The million-dollar questions. His silence has been deafening. His response, apparently he was reluctant to get involved, wanted to keep the peace.
Ah, the classic conflict avoidance.
Huh.
Keep the peace for whom, though? Not his wife, clearly.
That's exactly what Lucy points out. She tells him he doesn't get it, that she's his wife, not some random outsider his mom can just dismiss.
She has to spell it out for him.
And she gives him a pretty stark choice. She says, if you can't stand up to her, then I don't know what we're even doing here.
Wow. Putting the relationship on the line? That's serious.
It is, and Carol tries to jump in, defend Tom maybe, but Lucy just shuts it down. She says she's done with all the nonsense.
She's had enough.
Completely. Her final words to Tom are basically, you either stand up for me or you don't. And then she just walks out. Leaves him there with his mom.
A powerful exit. She drew her line.
Definitely. Later that night, she gets a text from Tom.
Apologizing profusely, I bet.
Pretty much. I'm sorry, Lucy. I never meant for things to get this bad. Can we talk?
An apology is a start, but...
But Lucy's thinking the same thing. Words are cheap, right? Especially after everything that just happened. She needs action.
Understandable. So what happens next? Do they talk?
Well, there are a few days of silence first, apparently punctuated by more texts from Tom saying sorry.
Giving her space, maybe? Or maybe just delaying the inevitable conversation.
Could be both. But that space lets Lucy reflect. And she realizes this dinner wasn't just a one-off crazy event. It was kind of the boiling point for years of maybe feeling overlooked or like her position wasn't fully respected by his family or by him.
Ah, so it brought deeper issues to the surface. That makes sense. The dinner was the catalyst, not the whole story.
Exactly. So when they finally do meet at a cafe, Tom is remorseful. But Lucy isn't just accepting an I'm sorry.
What does she demand?
Proof. She tells him, I need you to prove that you're willing to stand by me. I need you to show me that I'm a priority, not just an afterthought. And crucially, I need you to set boundaries with your mom.
Clear, direct, actionable requests. Setting boundaries with Carol is key.
And Tom agrees. He says he'll do it, that he'll prioritize their relationship.
Does he follow through? That's the real test.
According to the account, yes. It says he started to. He actually began standing up to Carol, setting those boundaries they talked about. It was the start of a change.
That's a huge step for him and for them. It shows he listened and understood the ultimatum wasn't just words.
Yeah, and through all this, Lucy found her own voice, her own strength. She realized she didn't have to just accept being treated poorly.
That terrible dinner actually forced a necessary confrontation. It pushed them to deal with issues they might have ignored otherwise.
Right, it became this weird turning point. Painful, yes, but maybe necessary for them to actually start working together differently.
And Lucy's big takeaway from it all.
That she wouldn't let anyone else dictate her worth or her place. Her self-respect came first. Which, honestly, is a pretty powerful conclusion.
It really is. What's fascinating here is how the whole thing kind of backfired on Carol, wouldn't you say? Her attempt to exclude and diminish Lucy actually ended up empowering her.
That's a great point. By pushing so hard, Carol forced Lucy to push back even harder, and maybe forced Tom to finally choose a side.
Exactly. It shifted the power dynamics in a way Carol clearly didn't intend. It just goes to show how complex family relationships are and how standing your ground, defining your own space, can have these ripple effects.
Absolutely. So, what does this all mean for you listening to this? I think Lucy's story is a really stark reminder about knowing your own value
Definitely.
and having the guts, really, to stand up for yourself, even when it's deeply uncomfortable, especially with family. It kind of makes you think, doesn't it?
It does.
Where in our own lives might we need to draw a line? Or have a difficult conversation? Or maybe just refuse to accept being treated as less than we deserve?
Yeah, that power of asserting your boundaries, even when it feels risky,
Mm.
it's something worth reflecting on.
Definitely food for thought long after this deck dive is over.